Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just wanna mourn and run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We are here to help you see the new you. My name is Lloyd Luna and this is The Big Picture. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, wherever you're watching from Singapore. Good evening to you all. It's the second day of September 2020. It's Wednesday evening. How are you doing? If you're watching right now on Facebook, you can also alternatively watch us on youtube.com/TNC Now. Because if you're going to watch us on YouTube, you will have an opportunity to have a gift from us, courtesy of TNC and Unisol. And this is the item that you don't want to miss having. Just watch us on YouTube and make some great, inspiring comment down there or down here below and get a chance to get this gift from us. So watch us on YouTube, make some comments, and then, maybe you'll be the lucky viewer to have this gift from us. Washable face mask, courtesy of Unisol and TNC. So just watch us on youtube.com/TNC Now. Make some comments, great inspiring comments. And then let's see if you'll be the lucky winner or lucky recipient of our gift for tonight. Is that okay with you? The winner or the lucky recipient will be announced before the show ends tonight. Shout out to Cholita Esplana, Rodan Manansala. Name sounds familiar though. Carmelita Luna, my mother and my father watching from Australia. How are you? Tonight is a very special night because we invited someone from a special place in Asia. So if you're watching right now, please do share our live stream link. You can also organize your own watch parties. And who knows, if you can send this link to your chat groups, it will be really, really better. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, from Jennifer Nuya. It's a really interesting day for everyone, especially in the Philippines, where we celebrate Christmas starting September 1st. Our guest has been to the Philippines several times, many times, coming and going. And because of the COVID-19 pandemic now, I think he's as locked down as we are. We're going to know him even more when we put him in our screen tonight. But in the meantime, please do share our live stream link. Share this live streaming tonight with your friends, families, and associates so that they too can have the inspirational show that I think everybody should have now. If there's anything, I think we are facing this crisis for many months now, and I think the medicine is inspiration. One of the medicines is actually inspiration, right? So who wants to get inspired tonight? Raise of hands. Because I want to get inspired. Every night I want to be inspired. We cannot go through this crisis with so much negativity. I think there should be some inspiration, and we should join the conversation where there is an inspiration, right? You don't want to face this crisis with your emotions so low and so down, and your mentality is the mentality of a loser. I think we should have the mindset of a winner as we go through this crisis. And so again, if you're watching right now, share our live stream link, organize your own watch party, and share this particular show in your Facebook, WhatsApp, Viber, whatever application you're using, messenger groups. All right, in the meantime, please, let's take a look at the headlines from the country's oldest English running newspaper, the Manila Times. Charge Duque, PhilHealth execs Senate recommendation. Raja to roll out second vaccine. Duterte orders PhilHealth revamp. PH factory in August. Metro Manila for other areas under GCQ or General Community Quarantine. Go appeals for vigilance compassion. OFW dependents to get cash aid. Government to provide shelter to evicted health workers. Filipino singer wins The Voice Kids UK. COVID cases in Navotas declined by 47%. Headlines presented to you by the Manila Times. For more news and information, please go to manilatimes.net or download their application at digitaledition.manilatimes.net. All right, our guests for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you're excited, say, "Oh, I'm excited," because our guest is as energetic as you probably cannot imagine. Ah, but we have here, and let's get infected by the inspiration, the motivation that will be bringing to us by our guests for tonight. Live from Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, professional speaker and trainer Leslie Choudhury. Hello and welcome to the Big Picture. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Leslie.
Thank you, Luna. Thank you, Lloyd. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for us. I don't know if you're going to agree, but it's an interesting time for everyone. You are in Singapore, and we read the news, and the news is your place is getting better compared with our place. How are things going?
Well, things are still tight in that we have relaxed. You can still go out, but you still have to do social distancing. You still have to observe wearing a mask. But apart from that, you can go out. You can dine together now. It's much better than a couple of weeks back. So things are looking up, looking up.
Yeah, I wonder what was it like for you when you first heard about this? Because in the Philippines, we call it the community quarantine. And I
Yeah.
think yours, you call it circuit breaker or something. But when you first heard
So
about it, yeah, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
honestly, it made me think about Noah's Ark. If you,
Noah's Ark.
oh yeah, if you go
Yeah,
back
Noah's Ark.
in the Bible of Noah's Ark, all right, the family, Noah and his family, three sons, three wives, him and his wife got locked in to an ark. No one in, no one out. No takeaways, no deliveries, no nothing. And that's what it reminded me of Noah's Ark.
That was an interesting take. That was an interesting
But,
take. Okay,
yes,
but
but the positive thing was just as in Noah's Ark, God had given Noah instructions to build one window, and the window wasn't on the side, the window was on top. So the point being, the only thing they could do was look up. So in times of trouble, the only thing we can do is look up. And that's precisely what we did.
wow, I mean, what can I say? That's an interesting point of view you have there because a lot of people are looking at their windows and it's not really on top. It's like this window to my back, and
Yeah.
everybody was caught off guard, so to speak,
Yep.
and everybody got they panicked. We panicked. Uh, we were disrupted. I think for a while the faith was not there until the few probably in the coming weeks and months before we regain. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. But look, let's move a little bit back about your story because it will be interesting to know where you're coming from before you become this and be part of the speaking community. Now, tell us something about your story. How did you become a trainer, professional speaker?
Well, that's going to take us quite a ways back. Uh,
Oh, we have 4 hours to do it. So yes.
well, when I was rough about 16 years old, I took part in a play, and I was looking forward to be given a major role in that play. Uh, and instead of given a major role, they asked me to play the voice of God. and gave me a mic and gave me a chair at the back of the stage for me never to appear on stage. And I played the voice of God. And no one saw me, they only heard me. And I was very, very disappointed. And when the play ended, all the actors and actresses went up for their curtain call and their bow and the applause. And I didn't bother. I stayed behind, backstage. But a lady in the crowd by the name of Dr. Nang Fong took the trouble to come backstage to find out who played the voice of God. And they pointed to me sitting in the chair, sulking and looking dejected. And she came over there and she said, "Are you Leslie? Did you play the voice of God?" And I said to her, "Yes. Did I say something wrong?" And she says, "No. I want you to know that you have a gift, and that gift is your voice. And it will take you far if you listen to Him." I never really took that seriously. I thanked her, but I didn't really understand what that meant. I started my career in the hotel industry in the USA, first in Atlanta, Georgia, then in Denver, Colorado, and then coming back to Singapore and opening at that point the largest hotel and the tallest hotel in the world, the Westin Stamford and Westin Plaza. Stayed in the industry, in the hotel industry for quite a while, flipped over to the travel industry, and then got fed up of managing people. And I said, "What can I do?" And I read an advertisement that said, "Stay in five-star hotels, travel to countries you want to travel that you've never traveled before, be treated really well, set your own fee structure. Would you like to do this?" And I went out, found out that they were talking about the speaking industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Where is this? Where is this? I mean, I rarely see advertisements like that. I mean,
it
you
was in
because
Singapore.
it was in
It was in
Singapore.
Singapore. Yeah, but it was done by an American Italian, and he put this advert out, and I went, looked at it, and I said, "Wow, he's asking for a lot of money to train you to be an international trainer."
Mm.
So I said, "Hold on," and I went out and I did my own research, and I realized that whilst you do have to work at it, you do have to be good at your craft. If you were, what the advert was saying was true. You can command your own fee. You do travel to other countries, and you do stay in five-star hotels the bulk of the time. And I decided to go for it. And I did. And I've never looked back since. And that was uh, phew, almost 14 years ago.
Okay, now we can tell your age now because of that information.
Yeah, but I started young.
Oh yeah, okay. That's a lame excuse then.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring, interesting story. I never thought that you started backstage and now you are doing
Front
your
stage.
stuff. Yeah, front stage. Maybe you start the back because most people don't really realize what's happening. Back there. So I thought we would have the same feeling and appreciation of that if we are not on stage in front because most people really. Uh, are into getting attention. So the more attention they get, the probably they are happier. So we when we are working right there at the back, I think it's not really a good feeling. And it's interesting because that one person is the game changer back there. The teacher that came to you and said
Yes,
that
she
you
was.
have the talent.
She was prophetic in her words. And I didn't realize until that moment that I decided to go for the course, the words she said to me came right back to the forefront of my head.
I'm having a goosebumps right now because I also have my own piece of story to share about that. When a couple of years ago, not so long, but it's otherwise known as 2004, or maybe 2005 or 6, who knows, when someone old came to me and said, I am going to train you and I will make you better than me. And I said, how can you do that? I mean, I was so young back then. And cut the long story short, now after his mentoring program, free by the way, training, I have 16 books. I have written 16 books. He has written one. I was able to travel many parts of the world. He didn't. I was able to have my own show. He didn't. I was able to talk to a lot of people, and he didn't. So, making that word go back to you and say, "Oh, now that guy was saying prophetic words for me at the time." So it's connecting the dots, moving back. I mean, looking backwards, right? So, wow,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, good. So, what are the challenges? You changed careers, and I can analyze from our conversation that it's burnout, it's fed up, like you don't want to manage people anymore. You don't want in this particular industry anymore. So, what were the challenges when you were shifting from one place and one job after another?
Well, I think in the hospitality industry, it's a fantastic industry. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was a fun industry, a invigorating industry, but it really took every bit of your time.
Mm.
Give you an example. When I worked as the general manager of a resort, all right, I may be the top person in that whole resort, but when something happens, people have to inform me. That's protocol. I have to look into it. I have to make decisions. If it's a life or death situation, if it's a safety issue, if it's what not have you. And it doesn't matter what time. And it affects your guests, it affects your staff. And I worked in a resort which had 2,000 staff in China, 44 department heads. Whether you like it or not, you become mother and father to everyone. And so it was a time stealer. Your time was no longer yours. And I just wanted to have a little bit more control over my time. I wanted to be able to say, my time is from this time to this time, then I can give it to my family or whatnot have you. And that wasn't possible. So
Mm.
I looked for a change. I looked
Yeah.
for a change where I could control time better.
Yeah, but
I could,
there's no easy change. So my next question to you is that transition when you say you already said no to paycheck because you no longer have to live by paycheck each month or regularly. So how was it like? I mean, how did you feel about quitting a day job and transitioning from someplace or somewhere doing something that you don't have any idea really if you're going to succeed or not?
well, it was scary. It was scary. I did have one small advantage. When I quit my last job, I had a 6 month uh, requirement of informing the company. And the company, even though I told them that I wasn't going to a competitor, that I was going into something new, was afraid that I would be going to a competitor. So they said I did not have to come to work, but all problems, they would call me on the phone. I advised them what to do, but I did not have to come to work. So what I did was prepare my website, prepare my courses, sit for things, design courses, look at what I wanted to do, all my marketing. So I had 6 months while still being paid by my existing company to do that. But once that 6 month period was over, I was ready to launch, but it was still scary. But God is a good God, and He blessed me. He blessed me.
Okay,
He
so
blessed
how's the first experience like when you're out there? Were you already paid during the first speech or training, or how was the journey like when you started? Because I started, and I should I should have been the one paying the organizer just for me to take this. You know what I mean? They don't get this. I said, how much do they need to pay you? Just get me. No, but then kidding aside, most of speakers that I know, including myself, this starts from a couple of bucks before they really go full time and get the fee structure that they really desire. So how is it like for you?
For me, I went to fairly established training companies and I said, look, I will take assignments for you, and I'm not really concerned with how much you're going to pay me, but I want the experience. But they still paid me, and I started off at anywhere from $500 for an assignment, and I took anything and everything they gave me. And within 2, 3 months, I pretty much realized what topics I was comfortable with and what I shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And very soon, I started to then dictate what I wanted to do and what I wouldn't do. And then very soon, I realized I can't work for anyone but myself. And so I took the next plunge, and that is going on my own steam alone.
That was fast, Leslie. That was fast.
But that does not mean that when I went alone, it was success. It took time. It took time. There were times I was doubting whether or not I made the right decision, because going from a fat salary, fantastic bonuses, all your medication, everything all planned to zilch, zero, nothing, unless you have a gig, unless you have an assignment, was a step of faith, a leap of faith. But I did. But I tell you something, um, I did an exercise which was very interesting. Because of that ad, I wrote down 10 destinations that I wanted to be invited to speak at or train at. 10 different destinations. And I wrote down these 10 destinations and I lifted it up to God Almighty. And I can proudly say at this point in my life, like you, I have been to all of those 10 destinations and more.
Wow.
And the top destination on my list was Mauritius. I wrote down Mauritius. Why Mauritius? Well, because it's a resort. It's a place I would love to go on vacation. And I thought, how nice if I could go there and speak. And then for the rest of the time, vacation. I thought,
Mm.
that's the ideal life. That's what I want. So I wrote it down.
Your work is your vacation.
That's right. But you won't believe this, but it is 100% true. After I did that, no less than 10 days, I received an email inviting me to speak in Mauritius for a
Wow.
3 day conference where they were inviting international speakers from all over the world. I looked at the resumes or the introductions of all the other speakers, and I was the least qualified. I had the worst pedigree or resume compared to everyone else. At that point, I had written 2 books. The next speaker, probably 8 books, and the top speaker, more than 38 books. So I was the least qualified, but they gave me 3 speaking spots, one on each day, and every other speaker, except for the keynote speaker, only had 1 slot. And I couldn't understand this.
I couldn't
I,
understand it. I mean, help
I
us
couldn't
understand.
understand.
No one
I
is.
didn't know. It didn't make sense. But I wasn't arguing with it because they were going to pay me 4,000 US per speech. So
We
it
should have
didn't
been
take,
friends during those days.
but I said yes straight away. And then I started to panic. And then I started to panic. What if I go there and they hate me? What if they boo me off the stage? What if all of these doubts started to plague me? And I went back again to him and laid my fears down and just worked on doing one thing: go on stage and enjoy yourself. Go on stage and have fun. And I started to do a visualization exercise. And this was my visualization exercise, that at the end of my 3rd speech, that I would get a standing ovation. Yes, Lloyd, the keynote speaker who was paid, all right, who was paid 3 times what I was paid per day, 3 times what I was paid per day, plus first class airfare and his entire family coming with him. All of that was paid for him. I got the standing ovation and he didn't.
I'm going to take your place, not him. Not
By
him.
all means.
By all means. Especially if you are just, if you're just starting. I mean, I wouldn't know how many years did this keynote speaker have spent doing this, but standing ovation is a validation that you're doing things right and that you're able to make a insurmountable impact on their lives. So I'll take your place. Disregard the money. Although I'm going to think twice.
Well, he was doing it for about 20 years.
Oh wow!
And at
See,
a point in my life, I had been doing it for about 5.
yeah. So yeah, sure, sure. So I'm gonna take your place then. But before we continue discussing these interesting things, your journey and your insights, I'm going to pause for a short commercial. When we come back, we're still going to ask you some questions and maybe a little game. If you're going to agree, well, even if you don't agree, we're going to have that anyway. The big picture and TNC returns. Stay tuned.
Since I got my new place, I've enjoyed every single day here. Hotel-like amenities, attentive staff, resort-style living, all in a premium location. So life here is easy and convenient. That's why I invested in another unit. I can earn more, and they can enjoy the very same things I enjoy at home. What a life! So much more rewarding. So much more to life. SMDC.
We need beauty every day. We need power every day. But are you ready?
Ready?
Ready.
Beauty is power.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Picture on the new channel. Before we continue, before I call back in my guest for tonight again, really inspiring story. Anna Oracion is watching along with Jennifer Nuya. Wow, I made the same list, she said, and God willing, she'll be able to visit those places, business plus leisure. Wonderful, inspiring story. God is truly a God of miracles. Jesse Francis Still is also watching, host of TNC's HR Hotline, along with Jeffrey Alvarado, watching from Montalban, Rizal. Great. The discussion during the opening, Jennifer said, fantastic metaphor for this pandemic about the ark. About the ark. So my guest is metaphorically Noah. Leslie the Noah. Time for sheltering and looking up to God. First time I have heard about the window because I have seen movies two times. Noah's of Ark or Noah's Ark, and then I didn't see the window. It's the door or window, but it's interesting that it's there. Look up. Just look up. Don't look anywhere else. Look up. All right. Before I get my guest back, please do watch our other shows on TNC. I'm inviting you to watch these shows because they too are very inspirational and it depends on your taste and your needs, whichever you would like to watch, whatever fits your need. HR Hotline every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12. The Family Business, Saturdays at 4. The Fort Project, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Dubai time, 11 p.m. Philippine time. Usapang Beauty, Thursdays and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. U-Turn, Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. The Home Buyer, Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. The Puppet Stories, Mondays at 5:30 p.m. TNC Marketplace, Thursdays and Fridays at 10. YOLA, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. TNC The Talk, Mondays at 12 p.m. After Shift, Wednesdays, Fridays, 8:30 p.m. Win Within, Saturdays at 8:30. TNC Town Hall, first and fourth Saturday, 7 p.m. each month. And one day, second, third Saturday, 7 p.m. each month. We're going to launch on Friday, Danny's Art Show. And on Saturday, Win Within with Erwin Ursua. We are growing since we started on May 15, and we thank you all for really making this happen because of your support and your dedication and your patriotism to this channel. We are really growing at a record-breaking number. So thank you so much. I think since we started on May 15, we are able to have 395,000 3-second views. So what about that? Okay, so and it's God's grace that actually made it. So it cannot be done by just human flesh and human imagination. So let's bring back the Noah of Singapore. Leslie Choudhury is a professional trainer and speaker in Singapore. The miracle man, the fast guy, the blessed guy. How do they call you really? The-
How do they call me?
yeah,
They call me the edutainer.
edutainer. Okay, so
Edutainer. So I
I hope
educate you and entertain you at the same time.
okay, no, but it's not for every speaker. I should know that. It's talent. It's God given. Not everyone is giving that particular set of skills that you educate at the same time entertain. It's very few. But it's I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but it's also a learnable skill. Is it not?
Yes, it is. It is. I have seen some people that you would think straight off the bat they would never be people that could speak to a crowd. But they have proven me wrong. They've proven others wrong because they worked at it. They worked hard at the craft and they have made it.
Okay, so tell us about your working hard prior to becoming an edutainer, because these are two particular set of skills, and some people they are just good at educating people, so plainly they educate, but the entertainment side is another set of discipline. So how was your journey like going through this, becoming an edutainer as you are now known?
Someone once said that an expert is somebody that has simply read more than anyone else on a particular subject. Don't try to go broad, try to go into a particular topic and specialize in that. So for my hat that I wear, I try to be in the broad hat of communication. And so for me, it was going on YouTube, investing in books, investing in videotapes, taking a look at the best communicators out there, the best speakers out there, understanding the stories, the power of stories, having my own stories to be able to be told, and just working at it. And that includes working in front of a mirror, working in front of your family, working in front of your friends, and always getting feedback and improve, improve, improve. It
Was there
doesn't
a
happen overnight.
Was there a point in your life that you somehow disregarded or neglected that part, the feedback? Or is it as part of your training, working for several companies in the travel and hospitality industry? It's I know it's some sort of you already get used to it. So is it part of your training to accept feedback? Because some really don't like it. Some get offended when they are being called.
I'm a person that believes in feedback and I go after it. I literally will ask for feedback, even if I know I have bombed, even if I know I really didn't do a good job. I still will ask for feedback because I want to know specifically how I bombed. What did I do wrong? And work on it. So I've worked on getting feedback, receiving feedback, and working on that feedback. And I continue to do that even today. I'll give you an example. We're in the pandemic, and I thought that's it, guys. I'm not going to have any work for I don't know how long. But what does God lay down on the table? An assignment to speak to 6,000 people in Asia Pacific, Japan, and China for Dell computers. And the first thing I did after I finished that speech was ask all the senior management for feedback. Tell me What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Tell me how I did. So
Mhm.
feedback always been a part of my, if you like, improvement.
Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here, but how do you separate legitimate feedbacks from, illegitimate ones?
Um, I think you're always going to get criticism. You're always going to get people that are somewhat toxic, but you have to use the old adage: if one person calls you a donkey, you pay him no heed. But if more than two people call you a donkey, you better get a saddle.
Yeah.
You had better
What if they are
understand.
friends? What they are they are friends? The three of
Yeah,
them simply
but
agree.
if all of them are harping individually the same point, it is worth looking into. It is
Okay.
worth looking into, and being, being pragmatic about that feedback and taking a look at how can you improve.
Mhm. And you can feel it, can't you? Whether it's a legitimate ones or not. I mean, you can always roll the tape and see what happened right there, and then
Well,
because I also
for live audience, it's simple. When you have a live training, a live speech, a live audience, you know whether you're connecting or you're not connecting. You know straight off from the laughter, from the facial recognition, from the applause, you know. But during the pandemic, what was difficult was their mics are closed, only your mic is open. So getting post mortem feedback was crucial and essential.
right, because we were used to talking to people and
Yeah.
looking at them in the eyes, and now we are looking in that one-eyed webcam, and we don't know really what's happening
That's right.
happening in our training, right?
That's right. It's difficult. It's difficult, but you you must seek out for feedback. You must
Yeah.
take feedback seriously. Can I
Mhm.
share a small story with you?
Yeah, sure. But before that, I also would like to share some sort of, a story. It takes some courage to do that. Um, it takes some sort of, they call it humility, accepting things that you should hear, whether you like it or not. Uh,
Yes.
because it happened to me, I think I have one particular attitude or particular mannerism on stage that I cannot help but doing all the time, and I thought not doing it will be, me as incomplete, will render me incomplete. So it was only a few years ago, and I decided, oh, they have been telling this to me for the past how many years? Maybe I should shape up and I should look at this. So yeah, I get the point. But for some people, feedbacks, it takes some different timeline for people to get it. Sometimes people disregard it, and then later they will get it. So yeah. So tell me your story.
Two Italians. One name Enzo and the other name Ferruccio.
Is it a real name? I have not heard
They
of
are
it.
both real names and it's a true story.
Okay.
So Enzo's last name is Ferrari. He was the founder and the maker of Ferrari cars. Ferruccio was the maker of tractors. Tractors. And but Ferruccio loved Enzo's cars. So he bought a Ferrari and he drove that Ferrari and he realized there was a problem with the clutch system. And so he went back to Enzo and he says, Enzo, I think I can solve your problem. I can help you with your
with
clutch.
with the diction, huh?
Yes. And
With the
Enzo
hand
looked at
gesture.
him and Enzo looked at him and says, you keep to making tractors and you let me make the cars. And he didn't take the feedback. Now comes the last name of Ferruccio. Ferruccio's last name is Lamborghini. And because of Enzo not taking that feedback, Ferruccio went out and started making Lamborghini cars to compete against Ferrari. Today, they have a 49% share of the luxury sport car market, 2% below Ferrari. They are almost going to overtake Ferrari.
And
So
it's just a break.
listen to feedback.
Okay. Now tell me something about the dress. You always dress up like bright, colorful, red, dragon red, whatever you call it. Fire red,
Ferrari red.
Ferrari red. So what's up?
Very,
What's with the
very
gala?
simple. I studied psychology, Lloyd, as part and parcel of becoming a speaker and trainer. I studied psychology.
This is
And
after your work or during your undergrad?
during my time of wanting to become a speaker, I went out and got my degree, or my PhD in psychology.
Oh,
In
that's
business.
another degree when you're already doing this training and
Yes,
professional speaking. Wow, interesting.
yes. So, and one of the things is there is a psychology on colors. So, certain colors that you wear send off messages all by itself. Without you saying a single word, they already communicate a message. So, for example, Ferrari red, the moment somebody sees you in a Ferrari red jacket, they're not going to expect boredom. They're going to expect something exciting, something colorful, something vibrant, something exciting. That is the expectation. And it sets off the tone for what you want to communicate. If I was to come in and wear black, only black, then it's very serious. I wear black on the inside because black shirts can only be worn by three different types of careers. One, entertainers, which is musicians and artists, etc. Two, funeral caretakers, or three, people in a court of law, lawyers, judges, etc. Those are the kind of people that can basically get up, or pastors, and it's a very serious, solemn scenario. But when you team it together, it's a perfect mix. So
Mhm.
that is method to my madness.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the first time I saw you speak in Malaysia, I don't know. I cannot even remember if that was you, but if you are, I think you were holding balls. Did you have your training with the balls that you pass and you throw? You
Um,
throw.
in some of the games that I
Yeah.
do, yeah.
So I can't really recall, but I think back in the days 2008, 9 or 10 maybe, I was in Malaysia speaking in one event, and
You're
I
right. We both were there. You're right. I remember you now. We were
now I
both,
remember you too.
yes, we were both there on a particular assignment.
Yeah, and you know what? I remember the color. I didn't remember so much about you, but I remember the color, so that's fun.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You know, people may forget my name, but they'll remember the man with the red jacket.
I hope it's a compliment then.
It's a branding. It's a branding. It's part of my branding. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, okay. I'm going to pause for another commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to play the game, and then we're going to close the show. The Big Picture
All
and
right.
TNC returns. Please do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Picture on the new channel. All right, let's bring in back our guest for tonight for a chance to win our game. Leslie Choudhury is a professional speaker and trainer based in Singapore, an international world-class speaker at that, because was able to cross out 10 countries. I don't know what are the other 9 countries. Maybe you can share fast the 9 other countries. Mauritius, one, two.
Thailand, Indonesia, China, Australia, New Zealand, USA, London, Dubai, Bahrain.
Okay, okay. Just right there. You don't want. You can just tell us United Nations. Maybe we can understand it better. Okay, let's have a game. The game is called Big or Small. I'm going to mention an item, and then you just tell me whether you prefer it to be big or small.
Okay.
Item number 1, coffee.
Big,
Number 2, milk tea.
big,
Number 3, car.
small,
Number 4, house.
big,
Family.
small,
Credit limit sa credit card.
big,
Planet in the solar system.
big,
Bed.
big. Then you can play catch me, catch me.
Crazy stuff. Why will you play on the bed anyway? That's your choice. Wristwatch.
Small.
Okay. Did it ever occur to you that I'm doing some sort of a psychological exam in here, doctor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna fool you though.
Okay, answer the question. If heaven is true, except from your family members and myself, who do you want to take with you to heaven if you're going to go up there tonight?
I'd like to take everyone.
Gosh, just one person. You're not answering the question. Just one.
Oh, just one person?
Just one
Apart
person.
from my family.
Yep, and myself. Don't take me as of yet.
Who do I want to take with me?
Yeah.
A friend of mine works for Dell, and he doesn't know the Lord.
Okay. Okay. Next question. If you were a barber, who do you want to cut hair during this pandemic?
Rod Stewart's hair.
Okay. If you're a gym instructor, who is the political leader you want to train in the gym?
Donald Trump.
Good luck. If you are an astronaut, who do you want to take with you to the outer space?
My son.
If only one is allowed to go back, who is it going to be?
Him.
Good. I have a guest, and he was thinking twice. Okay, last question. If you have all the money in the world, which company are you going to buy?
Which company am I going to buy? Google.
Okay, thank you so much for playing the game. I think you passed. Okay, I was just teasing you, and I said there's a sort of a calculus and algebra and trigonometry. Okay, Leslie, again, before we close the show, again, thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule to be with us tonight. But my last question is this: all things considered, now happening during this pandemic, a lot of things have shifted. We are still in the process of adjusting. Everything is moving parts, so to speak. What do you think is the big picture?
I think the big picture is innovating and changing to accommodate what is going on, and taking a look at how can you sustain this, and perhaps even force yourself into a situation that changes your paradigm, changes the way you do things, and perhaps creates a new scenario for you, your life, your family.
Okay. Thank you so much again. Any social media accounts where you can be followed?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, yeah, yeah, just my name.
Is that the one that we are flashing on screen at Leslie that Choudhury?
That's one of them, yeah.
All right, and go to the website. You just Google Leslie Choudhury. The spelling is there. Is that the website? Looks familiar,
Yes, it
right?
is. It
It
is.
is.
It is.
Okay, thank you so much to our social media team for doing the research as we do the interview. We have a great team here working for us. Thank you so much, Leslie, for your time. I appreciate it. Coming over to the big picture is really an honor for us, and hopefully one day we can see each other again in person, doing the same training probably. And hopefully, I am the one to get the standing ovation. You get you get the money, no problem. I'll take the standing ovation.
No problem, Lloyd. Look forward to it. All the best. Blessings.
Thank you so much. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Leslie Choudhury is a professional speaking trainer based in Singapore. The big picture is presented to you by Puzzlebox BPO Inc., also sponsored by SMDC Luluran, Unisol Telepreneur, Pretty Voices That Back, PAPS, and PALP. I'm going to see you again tomorrow, by the way. Our guest for tomorrow is none other than Danny Acuna, the host of the upcoming TNC show, Danny Art Show. So watch out for our interview with her tomorrow night, and yeah, I hopefully we can see you tomorrow. And up next on TNC is Samuel Solon, founder of Sam's Slim Gym. Wow, nakita niyo naman po sa katawan, ano? Medyo medyo pang fitness na kakagad katawan pala. But there are a lot of challenges they are facing right now, as gyms are only allowed now to operate. I don't know what capacity, but that will be at 8:30 p.m. on TNC. So stay on TNC. I'm going to see you again tomorrow, or if I'm not around, Dennis Calamba will be sitting in for me to interview Danny and Oni of Danny Art Show. But then again, I hope you have a good night tonight. My name is Lloyd Luna, your host on The Big Picture on TNC. Stay on our stream. Bye bye.